Sportsline, presented by Flynn's Tire and Auto Service. Need tires right now? Drive through the new speed lane at Flynn's Tire and Hermitage to get your new tires installed fast. Just drive in and we'll get you in at Flynn's. And tell them Flinny sent you. The number to call is 724-981-7900. That's 724-981-7900. It's the Pick Sportsline live on News Talk 790 WPIC and Sports Radio 96.7.
Hi, I'm Jillian.
Hi, I'm David.
And now it's time to start the show.
Here are the hosts,
Hugh Ringer and our daddy, Bob Greenberg.
We are back. Yes, we are. The Pick Sports Line, presented by Flynn's Tire and Auto Service, flynnstire.com. And we are broadcasting live tonight till 7 o'clock on 790 WPIC, Sports Radio 96.7. We're on the iHeart app, streaming live video on our Sports Radio 96.7 Facebook page. You can post a comment or a question there. We appreciate that. And, of course, at Twitter, at RingerHugh, at Bob Greenberg. We are back, and we are in main season mode right now as the Steelers will take over hour number one of this program. And the Steelers coming off a thrilling victory yesterday in Atlanta. Hour two, Jerry DePaula of Trib Live will join us talking about thrilling victories. Pitt with their greatest comeback in 53 years on Saturday, coming back to beat Cincinnati. And then also the breaking news this morning, shocking news that Heather Lyke, the school's athletic director, has been fired. So we'll get to Jerry all about that. And if that isn't enough, it's Pitt WVU week. The Backyard Brawl is back, so stay tuned for all of that. Also at 6:30, Tom Reisenweber will join us this week in District 10. Then we close out with our Lock, Stock, and Barrel Plays of the Week, high school football review, and Pigskin Pick'em to close it all out. Hugh Ringer joining us, and Hugh, the Steelers are 1-0 in first place all by themselves in the AFC North. Who would have thunk that?
Well, it's delightful on this Monday, isn't it? And I was hoping it was going to end that way. Things began to turn for the other three teams in our division in the second half of their games yesterday, and it indeed is delightful to see our Steelers, for whatever it might mean very, very little in light of the entire season, but they're 1-0. And the Browns, Bengals, and Ravens are all 0-1. And I was sure glad to see Cincinnati go down yesterday to what many people call the hapless Patriots. What'd they win? 5 games last year? And they come to Cincinnati and knock off the Bungles. Can we call them the Bungles until they win a game?
Who was worse yesterday in your mind? The Browns or the Bengals?
Well, I didn't see either of those games, but from what I heard, the Browns were horrible, and the Bengals couldn't get anything going at all offensively. And, it was just a crazy, crazy day for the other teams in the division, and at least that's going to quell the talk that is coming out of some mouths who follow the American Conference that the toughest division is the Steelers division. So at least for a week they won't be saying that, but it's nice that the Steelers got that win, just enough offense and plenty of defense, and they win 18-10.
Yeah, really unbelievable. I think I look at the game yesterday was the defense lived up to the hype, even though it's not one of the elite quarterbacks in the league, but still a pretty good offense, a great running back for Atlanta. The offense was just good enough to win, didn't make mistakes, reminded me of the kind of the Kenny Pickett game plan, manage the offense, run when have to, don't turn it over, and let Chris Boswell win the game for you.
Well, that was a recipe for success, no doubt about it. I mean, didn't we sit there, not in amazement, though, because we know what Boz is capable of. Now, if you recall, Bob, he kind of dropped off a little bit last year in his kicking proficiency. He was very good, but he still wasn't up to his great standards of years gone by. 57-yard first quarter field goal. 51 second quarter. 44 in the second quarter, in the third quarter. 56 in the third quarter. 40-yard field goal again in the third quarter. And then the 25-yarder to ice it completely in quarter number 4. And yeah, you heard right if you didn't watch the game. 3 of his field goals were over 50 yards. And Bob, I think they would have gone through the uprights from 65 yards maybe.
Yeah, there's no question that Chris Boswell is the best kicker in Steeler history, to say the least.
And he didn't look like a bad punter when he was called upon. He came in, of course, when our poor punter, Cam Johnston, suffered a terrible knee injury that obviously puts him on injured reserve. And the Steelers, I assume, even today have not made a decision. They're scrambling all over the place trying to find the best available kicker. And, of course, who had to go in and punt when the game was still on the line late in the game? Boz, of course. And what did Boz do? He only punted one for 48 yards. So what a day for the Boz.
I think the biggest story for me, and I still can't even believe this stat. After week 1, the 4 quarterbacks in the AFC North, you got Joe Burrow, you got Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson, and Justin Fields. Out of those 4, Justin Fields with the highest quarterback rating after week 1. Can you believe that?
Not hardly. Not hardly. I can't.
What's your evaluation of the quarterback, Justin Fields?
Justin Fields? Bob, as far as I'm concerned, I told a friend of mine over coffee this morning, I said, I'm going to use a line that is overused, but I'm going to use it anyway. Boz didn't turn anything over. He didn't make any bad plays. And he played the game not to lose it. And he made no mistakes. He ran the offense. And I thought, in balance, he had a pretty good day. Hit a couple of big passes to his star wide receiver, George Pickens, that were things of beauty. And, when he had to gain yardage with his legs, he can always do that, but he picked yesterday the right time to scramble when he needed that scramble for that extra first down. So my feeling of the whole thing is that Justin Fields acquitted himself very well.
Here's a stat of the day. This is from NFL on CBS Twitter. There have been 3 quarterbacks since the merger, which would be since 1970, that completed 70% of their passes and had 50-plus rushing yards in their team debut. 1970, it happened. Roger Staubach. 2020, Cam Newton. 2024, Justin Fields. The 3rd quarterback ever to do that.
Well, that's kind of impressive. And you got to take your hat off to Mr. Fields. He won the game, helped win the game for the Steelers, and he sure as heck didn't help them lose it. Now we'll see. And, of course, you and I both exchanged our philosophies and ideas in your office before we took the air. Everybody, reporters, fans, you name it, they're all talking about it. When does Russell Wilson get his quarterback job back, or does he? Considering that Fields is 1-0 and he already won a football game on the road and so on and so forth. And so that's the talk this week. Mike Tomlin will have his usual weekly press conference at 12 noon tomorrow, and I imagine that's going to be the interesting topic of conversation. But don't be surprised, folks, if he disappoints you a little bit and says, we know that Fields is fine. He was healthy going in. He was healthy coming out. But we don't have yet a definitive health analysis of Russell Wilson's calf to actually make the announcement. He may do that. But I am of the thinking very strongly, Bob, that there's no controversy here because the Steelers brought in Russ Wilson to be their quarterback in 2024, And if he is healthy and is deemed so by the medical staff of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Russell Wilson will start on Sunday in Denver, where he played last year. And you know he darn well wants to show the fans that he still has it left on Rocky Mountain High.
Well, first off, before I respond, thanks to Chuck on our Facebook page. The Steelers just announced a few minutes ago they have signed a punter.
Oh, okay.
They have signed punter Corliss Waitman.
I've heard that name, but I know nothing about him.
Let me see what
Corliss Waitman.
Waitman spent time on the Steelers practice squad in 2020, was released
That's where I probably heard of.
after the 2021 draft. He handled the punting duties for the Chiefs 2 days later. He's had 103 career punts in NFL, a gross average of 46.9 yards per punt.
That's a good average.
Punted at South Alabama, blah, blah, blah. His most extensive playing time was with the Broncos. So there you go. Corliss Waitman is the new Steeler punter.
Okay, there were some rumors bandied about today that we might be looking at the erstwhile punter we got rid of at the end of last season, thank goodness, Presley Harvin. He was, for fans who didn't know, he was picked up by the San Fran 49ers in the preseason, and I saw part of a preseason game where he was kicking the ball out of bounds like he was a great golfer and was impressing the Niners, but then they ended up cutting him. And thank goodness we're not going to have to look at him. Corliss Waitman, okay?
There you go. So that just got announced. Back to your statement. So here's the issue right now. I find it hard to believe, and I could be wrong, and we'll find out, that Russell Wilson, his calf injury, is going to be 100% healed by next week. It may be.
Well, he said he was feeling real good on Sunday. But,
everybody's going to say that.
Well, I know they are.
He's not going to tell you otherwise.
And he went out and he threw the ball around with some of his teammate friends and, not out there with any idea, of course, of playing.
Well, they said the fact that he was on the field in warm-ups with no trainers around him was a
Yeah.
sign that he was not playing.
That he would not play because, they weren't concerned about it. They probably gave him strict orders, no running around, no planting your foot, just throw the ball. That's okay. But, we're going to have to wait and see what happens. Mike Tomlin may say, we didn't practice today, of course. We don't practice on Tuesday in a regular week, and we won't see these guys until Wednesday. And it may not be a heavy practice on Wednesday. Usually they ramp it up on part of the time Wednesday and definitely on Thursday, and then kind of kick back Friday. Maybe have a walk through Saturday.
So go back to my question.
But the point is, going back to the question, you may not know until after Russ Wilson at least tries to put in a full practice on Wednesday.
So you think, from your perspective, if Russell Wilson is 100% cleared, he should be starting on Sunday?
Absolutely. He's the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mike Tomlin anointed him that way, and that is the understanding he had pretty much if he came here and performed, which he did adequately in the preseason.
He played 10 downs in the preseason.
I know he played.
There was no evidence
Nobody plays man.
So he didn't perform anything in the preseason.
But the point is, Bob, he didn't do anything to have his job lost. Tomlin gave him the job, said he was his quarterback, and he was going to start if he hadn't had the injury. And you don't lose your job to an injury, Bob. That's the way they say in many sports, and I think to a degree it's that way in the NFL.
Well, yeah, but he's never played a down for the Steelers. So this is a different situation.
What's that have to do with anything? He's 35 years old and has played how many years in the league? He's been in 6 Pro Bowls, won a Super Bowl. I mean, come on. How much time does he need? He knows what it's like to play in a game that matters.
I saw a lot of quarterbacks yesterday. A lot of quarterbacks. It was one of the worst throwing days in
I would agree.
And lots of rust. And my concern is, not only is he not played a lot, very little, he hasn't practiced a lot now because he's been injured.
Yeah.
And you got an opportunity to give Justin Fields another a game on the road. He's got one game under his belt, and if Fields, he's the future quarterback in my mind. He's a young guy.
I think he still has a few things to prove, Bob, that he's the complete quarterback.
Well, I'm not saying that, but I think he won a great game on the road yesterday.
Hey, I like the guy. I'm not running him down. I'm just saying that everybody has his strengths and his weaknesses. He's a tremendous athlete, can change the course of a game in that way. But, I'm not going to sit here and say he's a tremendous quarterback because he's never had great success in throwing, at least in the NFL. That's what all the scouts said when he was in Chicago for a couple of years.
I look at it this way. His athleticism makes the offense better and the offensive line look better. Russell Wilson's 35 years old. He will not be able to get away and run like this young man can.
Well, not by design, but maybe by necessity.
No, he's not as good an athlete as Justin Fields.
I'm not saying that, but he's a better athlete than Kenny Pickett. He'll be able to run around and buy time if he needs to. He's a smart enough guy, and if he can feel the heat, he's going to unload the ball. He's smart, very, very smart, and a tremendous leader. And I know Mike Tomlin wants to get him out there as soon as he can, but he's going to do it prudently. And that's my stance on the whole thing.
Right. If he's healthy, that's the debate.
If it's healthy, he gets the ball.
And if Fields goes out, let's just say if he's not healthy, if he's still, hey, you know what, we want to take one more week. We want to make sure he is 100%, blah, blah, blah. And then Fields goes out and wins another game on the road. That's going to put more pressure on Mike Tomlin.
The more he would play, the more Fields would play, and the more times Fields would succeed is going to turn that thing a little bit. It's only natural. But I'm just saying, you win an 18-10 game, you don't score any touchdowns, and I'm not totally blaming that on Fields. But, he didn't light it up through the air to the point where, oh, wow, we have ourselves a quarterback who can do it all. Not yet. We don't. And I like the kid. But Russell Wilson is the man. And when the man is healthy, the man starts. That's where I rest my case.
No, and you have rest. I'm the opposite. I think at this point, I like what I saw out of Justin Fields. He adds a tremendous element early in the season with his young offensive line to run. And his legs were huge yesterday, over the 50 yards rushing. And you're not going to get that with Russell Wilson. I understand the experience is highly favoring Russell Wilson with his background. There's no question about that. But I'm also fearing that Russell Wilson may be pushed into a start because of the storyline. And, if he's 98% healthy, he's not 100% healthy because he's going to Denver and it's a great story and it's going to be the national game on television. I think Fields is the potential future quarterback for this organization, and if you pull him now, does that help or hurt him?
Well, I don't know, but one thing I know is you talk, so much about Fields running the ball. Well, I thought that's what Najee Harris and Jalen Warren are all about, Bob. And they had combined about 80 yards yesterday, and 70 of them were gleaned by your starter, Najee Harris. They're the guys that you want to have run. And I think the offense is going to be more balanced when and if Russell Wilson is able to start this week.
That will be interesting. And I would agree with...
It'll be very interesting. And I think it'll be interesting. I think they'll get the receivers more involved.
I will say this, that I will bet you anything right here on this program that there is a 0% chance that Mike Tomlin will reveal anything tomorrow. There's zero chance he's going to say, Russell Wilson's been cleared. He is our starting quarterback. Next question. It's not going to happen. It'll be...
He may say that, and that may be his
There's
answer.
no way he's going to say that.
Well...
would. You think he'd want to play this out for the week? It's a little bit of an advantage, you'd imagine.
I know he wants the Broncos to be thinking. But I think their coach knows Mike Tomlin well enough that he's going to make the prudent decision. And that's kind of what I'm saying.
It'll be interesting, to say the least. What other positives jump out to you from yet? What's the couple other headlines for you?
I loved the big plays by our secondary, primarily by Dante Jackson and our safety, Deshaun Elliott. And I'm especially pleased that Dante Jackson showed well in this game because there have been a lot of doubting Thomases that this guy they got from the Carolina Panthers, ostensibly in a kind of a one-for-one swapperoo in exchange for Deontay Johnson, our much maligned receiver. A lot of people thought the Steelers got some damaged goods there and they didn't get a good player, but Mike Tomlin's always liked him. He was alert enough to have a big interception, and I'll tell you, I like the game-clinching interception by Deshaun Elliott. He flies around. He loves to hit. I think he and Minkah, who, by the way, had a very nice game, Mr. Fitzpatrick himself, the Steelers, I think, have a nice tandem along with Damontae KZ, who loves to hit, as we know, at the safety position.
Didn't say a word about TJ Watt?
Who?
Are you're getting spoiled by his performances?
Is there another guy?
Are you getting spoiled? You're not even mentioning him.
Well, I was telling you who I was really pleased with, kind of in a surprised way, but my gosh, I was going to get to TJ. What more do you want from him? I mean, he had a sack. It seemed like he had 6 sacks, but he only was credited with 1.
Well, because 2 were taken away because of penalties.
I know. And he had 4 tackles and 2 assists. He was causing grief and agony for everybody on the Falcon offense all day. TJ Watt was TJ Watt. I mean, if anybody had any doubts, as he is ready to turn 30 years young this week, I don't think anybody's going to have any doubts about this guy still being in peak efficiency. What a player. And by the way, he had to straighten out the referees a couple of times, and he got a blind man in a striped shirt to admit that he blew a call and took a turnover away from Mr. Watt.
Yeah.
He had a heck of a day.
Yeah, the officials were in first game form, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Multiple mistakes, and we may jump into that.
Now I am going to say, since we're bringing up linebackers, Alex Highsmith was okay, had 5 tackles, 4 assists. He can be better than he was yesterday. It took him a while to get going. But did you notice, Bob, and I'm not going to be overly critical, I'm just going to throw this out as an observation. Did you notice how quiet our inside linebackers were? The much ballyhooed Patrick Queen, the great young rookie who might have been the best of the 3 inside backers yesterday, Peyton Wilson, the 4th-round pick, and, of course, Elandon Roberts. They're going to have to play better at that inside linebacker position for the Steelers to be dominant in the run-stop defense.
Gave up 89 yards on 22 carries, a little over 4 yards per carry. And they held Robinson to 18 for 68. Yep. I think overall they did a pretty good job.
Yeah, well, they did. And, of course, Watt was largely responsible for that. I'm just saying that I don't know. I'd have to see the tape to see if the 3 inside backers played poorly. They just weren't as active and as productive, maybe, as I thought they would be.
A couple quick comments from Facebook, and then we'll go to a break. Gene says, kicking game gets an A+, defense gets an A, offense gets a C, Tomlin gets a F. Too busy kissing players. I'm not sure what that means.
Oh, that's ridiculous. His other grades were very fair.
Yeah, I'm not sure how you give Mike Tomlin.
What the heck do you mean give Mike Tomlin an F?
The only
got to be one of these Tomlin haters.
The only part of the game that I questioned was the end of the first half when Mike Tomlin did not use a timeout when they could have, and they wasted 15 seconds and then eventually got a field goal. But maybe would have had another shot or 2 for the end zone.
Yeah.
That was on Mike. But Bill Doyle says, I agree. We have to see what Russell Wilson can do. So he's on your side.
Good.
So there you go. There's a couple. We'll get to more comments here.
He knows football when he sees it.
We'll see. We will see.
Billy Doyle, you know football. So
we will see. The door is open. It's cracking a little bit for a quarterback controversy, not full blown yet. But if Russell Wilson,
I knew you were heading to that.
If Russell Wilson plays well and they win, no questions asked. If he plays terrible next week, if he starts, then it's going to be a questionable. It's how do you not debate it?
I like them both. I'm going to start giving you that answer, but you'll still argue with that.
Oh,
I
my
like them
goodness.
both.
Of course you like them both. I like
Sure.
the one that wins.
They're wearing black and gold. I like them both.
724-981-7900, the opening segment of the Pick Sports Line. We're glad you've tuned in. We're going to take a break, come back, continue our Steeler discussion. Give us a call. Pick Sports Line presented by Flynn's Tire right here on 790 WPIC Sports Radio 96.7.
Hi, this is Joe Flynn with Flynn's Tire. We know how valuable your time is, so we've made it fast, easy, and affordable to buy tires. There's 3 easy ways to purchase tires from Flynn. First, just drive in, because Flynn's will get you in right now. No appointment necessary. The second option, give us a call, and we'll help you select and reserve the perfect tire for you. The third option, save time and buy online at flynnstire.com. It's that easy. Just drive in, and Flynn's will get you in right now.
And tell them Finny sent you.
I've worked hard to make my house a home, and I expect my insurance to work hard too. That's why I'm with Erie Insurance and my local agent. They offer the service I deserve, the coverage I need, all at a price I can afford.
Your local Erie agent in Hermitage is Reinhardt's Insurance. Get a quote at 724-342-2291 or visit reinhardts.com. Go to erieinsurance.com for company licensure and product details.
I'm hungry.
Well, I know just the place to go.
They got what I like?
Oh, yeah.
When? Wait, what about drinks?
Well, it's a bar and grill, so yeah, you're covered.
Win-win?
Speaking of win, they've got gaming too, so you can
Win.
Come sit down for a great meal, a great drink, a great time, or all three. Vase Pub and Grill has just what you want. So come by for good eats, cold drinks, and the latest ways to win. Vase Pub and Grill, East State Street, Hermitage.
Give your home a beautiful makeover with flooring options from Mohawk, now at Menards. Add style to your room with Mohawk Vinyl Plank Flooring. It features a realistic wood grain appearance, is waterproof and durable, making it an ideal choice for active households. Stop in today to shop our wide selection of Mohawk flooring options or visit Menards.com for more great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Simmers Crane is proud to support local companies that are keeping our valley strong. The demand for workers has never been higher. If you're looking for work, now is the time to rejoin our workforce. No matter what your skills or education, our valley needs you.
Hi, this is Danielle Lannerman from Deering Compressor. Our valley is getting back to work, and we're focusing on training the next generation of skilled workers in our industry. We'll train you while you're on the job. We have immediate openings in welding and fabrication, assembly, general labor, engineering, and administration. Apply online at DeeringComp.com.
Keeping our valley strong, brought to you by Simmers Crane, highlighting local businesses that are looking for good workers now. Find out more about Simmers Crane and our current openings. Visit simmerscrane.com. That's simmerscrane.com.
It's the Pick Sports Line, presented by Flynn's Tire and Auto Service. Need tires right now? Drive through the new speed lane at Flynn's Tire and Hermitage to get your new tires installed fast. Just drive in, and we'll get you in at Flynn's. And tell them Flinny sent you.
And we are back, Pick Sports Line, Bob and Hugh. Tom reminds me, and I forgot about it, fourth quarter decision by Mike Tomlin on 4th and 1, up 5, could have went up 8. They elect to go for it and get stopped. What was your reaction to that play, Hugh?
It wasn't his best call of the day. Of course, there was as I recall, was a snap low, or I don't remember what it.
That was the one they tried to rush the play, and the defensive line jumped it, and Fields had no chance.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
So the question is, the Steelers should have went up 8 to take a one-score lead, or were you okay with them going for that first down?
At the time, I didn't really think much about it. I think I'd have taken the 8-point lead.
I actually was okay with the play. I was okay with them going for it, only because they needed a touchdown to put the game away. It was 4th and very short, and my problem with the play was that they rushed it, and the defense was ready. The offensive line wasn't ready, and from at least what the announcer said, they didn't even know what the play was. So there was definitely confusion there. Maybe a timeout should have been called. I don't know, but that was debatable.
That's something you got to get straightened around. And I imagine in special teams work, they will do just that this week because they may want to try that kind of a play again.
Well, I would hope so. 4th and short to win a game, and you can't get it. That's a concern, but we'll see. I think it was more about the execution of the play.
You have a young quarterback and a young center, so, that's going to affect it.
724-981-7900. What's your evaluation of the offensive line yesterday, Hugh?
Well, it's going to need work. They're going to have to keep working. But the information that I have, Bob, is that Tanu is now healthy, which means he can start probably at right tackle, and Broderick Jones can go back to left tackle, and then I don't know where Dan Moore would be. But the nice thing is they have some flexibility there. But if everybody other than Sayamalu at left guard is healthy, it's going to give the offensive line coach the depth and the quality that he definitely needs. The line was passable, I think, yesterday, but it certainly was not nearly as competent as I feel it is going to be if they can get themselves settled with Broderick Jones at left tackle, Sayamalu at left guard, rookie Zach Frazier at center, James Daniels at right guard, and our number 1 pick, Troy Atanu, at right tackle. That's the line they want to go with.
I saw the stat, and I think one of the key stats of the game yesterday, the Steelers only had 1 3-and-out.
Yeah.
You realize that?
Yeah, they moved the ball well. They definitely did.
The Steelers also 8 for 17 on third downs. That was big.
Mm-hmm.
They moved the chains. They kept the offense on the field. I thought Najee Harris ran with some enthusiasm yesterday.
He did. He likes to run upright more than a lot of ball carriers do, but, man, he likes to administer some punishment when he does that, doesn't he?
20 carries, 70 yards, 3.5 yard per carry. Not great.
And I think it was obvious that our second star running back, Jalen Warren, was not completely healthy with the hamstring. What did he get, 1 carry in the game?
2 for 7.
2 for 7, and maybe only played 3 or 4 more plays in the entire game. It'll be nice to have him back in there and have those two banging on people and get a little surprise down the road when they find out that Cordero Patterson is in the ball game, and he could surprise them as well. I'd like to see Patterson get a chance to return a kick pretty soon, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I don't know if he will, though.
Well, that's his forte.
Well, I understand that, but I guess at this point we'll see. Patterson got 4 carries yesterday. It was a little bit unusual about Warren because if he wasn't 100%, why did he dress?
Yeah.
Makes no sense to me.
Well, yeah, but they don't have many other options, Bob.
Well, I understand that, but it just seemed like if, because that was the question. His role diminished big time yesterday, and that was unusual to say the least.
Well, they'll be using him, don't worry, down the road.
If we're talking about the Steelers, their big win yesterday, the defense basically giving up, in my mind, 3 points because the touchdown was a gift.
Yeah, right.
All-time gift because there was a turnover. The referee admitted to T.J. Watt he made a mistake. So at this point, I think that the offense, despite it all, gets a good grade. But here's the issue, Hugh, with this offensive line. I'll go back to it. The mobility of Justin Fields made the offensive line much better. He was sacked twice yesterday. How many times could he have been sacked if he wasn't so mobile?
No, that's true. That's true.
Which is a totally different discussion.
Yep.
Mike says, how about in the first quarter when Najee got his helmet ripped off? That should have been a 15-yard penalty.
Well, Najee wanted to rip that guy's head off, get up, and he was looking for a fight. But I don't know. That they should have called a penalty, no doubt about it.
And then Broderick Jones came over and then got a penalty.
Yeah.
Kind of the second man in.
I know.
But you'd like to see that, though.
Yeah.
He came to protect one of his.
your guys.
Exactly.
Yep.
We're talking about the Steelers and Atlanta yesterday. What was the best moment of the game from your perspective? The key moment. What jumps out?
Key moment in the game might well have been, you're going to laugh at this probably, but I think it might well have been the unexpected 48-yard punt by our place kicker, Chris Boswell, to get us out of what could have been a very dicey situation at the end of the game if we'd have turned the ball over on downs to the Falcons deep in Steeler territory.
I agree. That was there was some little tenuous position there. Could they snap it? I figured Boswell could kick a ball.
Oh, yeah.
But he had never punted before, so that was made it very interesting, to say the least. How about your thought about Arthur Smith and his debut?
Well, it's hard to evaluate whether Smith really had a chance to run his offense the way he likes to, Bob, because he had a new quarterback in there. He had an offensive line that I think they thought would hold up okay, and it did. But I think there were enough concerns, let's say, on offense with execution that he was unable to do that. And in fact, comments were made, I think, by Wilson after the game that unfortunately he didn't get the ball to his tight ends soon enough. I mean, he had 4 catches with Pat Freiermuth for 27 yards, but not much in the first half. Darnell Washington, I think, only caught 1 pass in the game. Connor Hayward was never thrown to. And Michael Pruitt did have 1 catch for very short yardage, 7 or 8 yards. So I'm just saying that I don't think our new coordinator had a chance to use the offense the way he would like to use it.
My concern from back in May, my concern in July, my concern in August, and my concern here on September 9th hasn't changed. The wide receiver room is not good enough. They have one above average to excellent wide receiver.
And you're talking about Ben Skoranek, right?
I'm talking about Ben Skoranek is the above average receiver. Yes, of course.
Hey, he's the biggest one.
He's big, but it doesn't matter. So we have George Pickens. Then you got yesterday, Calvin Austin with 1 catch, Van Jefferson with 1 catch.
Yeah.
And then Pickens with 6 catches.
And then the tight ends. Freiermuth had 4, Washington 1, and Pruitt had 1. So 7 or 6 rather with the tight ends.
The tight ends had 6.
Well,
the receivers had 8, but that was 6
yeah,
by Pickens.
right.
Your thought about, now it's early, and obviously it's a different situation if Wilson comes in, but do you truly believe this wide receiver room is good enough in a game that they're taking away Pickens, that they have to make a huge catch in crunch time? Can they get it done?
Bob, I'm going to say I said it all preseason. I'll say it again. I don't think that it's good enough. I don't think this group collectively is good enough. George Pickens is a star. I think you would admit 6 catches, 85 yards yesterday.
And 1 taken away on a horrible call.
And 1 taken away from him.
On an offensive interference.
He is a heck of a player. There's no doubt about it. I think that they will get better when Roman Wilson, the kid from Michigan, is finally able to play with his bum ankle.
When's that going to be?
Well, I don't know when it's going to be. I mean, it happened early in training camp, and we're waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. But I understand they probably want the kid to be 100% plus before they put him out there. But Roman Wilson, I think, can help this offense. Van Jefferson has to be better. In fact, I don't know whether it was Max Starks or who it was, a former Steeler, said on the air yesterday after the game that without question, he said, I hate to point a finger, but he said Van Jefferson has to be better than he looked against the Falcons. So they need another guy. There's no doubt about it. And I understand on the side, they're still having talks with Denver, where they go on Sunday to get that receiver, and I can't tell you what his name is, but Denver's throwing the ball a lot, and they have a lot of receivers, and they might be able to part with one, but they still need a veteran receiver to try to help Pickens out.
Well, it seems clear to me that's not happening. They've had ample time to get somebody in, and it's just not happening. So it's going to be up to this group, and I'm not very confident that a rookie that hasn't really done much at all is going to make any impact in this offense. I can't even imagine.
It's going to take time, but Roman Wilson has not been sleeping in every day, you know. I imagine the kid has really been watching. He's very bright. He probably knows the offense very well. He just hasn't been able to execute it. But I think given time, he's going to be okay. Second half of the year, I think he may start to come on if the ankle completely heals. We haven't seen in games with the bullets flying yet this year what Scotty Miller, the kid, can do. The Steelers, made a trade to get him and bring him in. He was one of the new coordinator's boys, and I think he'll have an opportunity. He's not very big, but he can do a lot of things. He can hold. He can do some things that the other guys can't. And I think they have a good punt returner and probably kick returner in Calvin Austin. But for the life of me, Bob, I don't think, and you probably would agree, I can't see the day coming when that little speedster is going to develop into a major threat as a receiver,
I would agree. I think at this point his future as a quality contributing wide receiver is still in doubt.
Yeah, and his contribution is returning punts and kickoffs.
Hank says, was that game in Pittsburgh or Pittsburgh, Georgia, or Pennsylvania yesterday?
Oh, the crowd was tremendous. Steelers travel well. We know that. And I'll tell you, they were there. I'll bet they had, I don't know how many the stadium seats. Let's say it seats 55,000. I'll bet they had at least 20,000, don't you think?
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot. I mean, I don't know what the number is, but I know there was a lot that was at the game. And I saw as the game ended, Mike Tomlin was showing his appreciation to the fans.
Yeah, they make a difference. There's no doubt about it.
And by the way, what was the issue with Mike? Was it the first game Mike Tomlin did not wear a baseball cap?
That's right. Maybe was he wearing a headset? He was, I think, part of the time.
But that was it was mentioned by multiple people, and I don't know if he was ever asked. That was unusual. I don't know why he didn't wear a hat yesterday.
Maybe somebody ripped it off his head.
Well, who would have done that?
A fan.
I doubt that.
Coming out of the tunnel.
Or maybe he gave it away to a fan that was a supportive fan. He autographed it for him. I don't know.
Well, that might have been the most significant thing to come out of the game. Where was Tomlin's hat?
Where was his hat? It was unusual, to say the least. Need a break. We'll come back and wrap up Steeler Talk. This is the Pick Sports Line, presented by Flynn's Tire, right here on 790 WPIC, Sports Radio 96.7.
Hi, this is Joe Flynn with Flynn's Tire. We know how valuable your time is, so we've made it fast, easy, and affordable to buy tires. There's 3 easy ways to purchase tires from Flynn. First, just drive in, because Flynn's will get you in right now. No appointment necessary. The second option, give us a call, and we'll help you select and reserve the perfect tire for you. The third option, save time and buy online at flynnstire.com. It's that easy. Just drive in, and Flynn's will get you in right now.
Tell them Finney sent you.
In 1973, Lock, Stock, and Barrel opened their doors and served their first of over 3 million giant submarine sandwiches. And they still serve 42 whole subs on 15-inch buns. Lock, Stock, and Barrel also has burgers, specialty sandwiches, wraps, gyros, salads, wings, and even breakfast. Lock, Stock, and Barrel is also a full-service deli. Party rings, meat and cheese trays, and cold veggie trays are all available. Open Tuesday through Saturday. Closed Sundays and Mondays.
Stay refreshed and hydrated with Herman's Water, your go-to bottled water choice in the Valley since 1908. Herman's premium spring water is sourced from nature's purest springs, delivering a crisp taste that quenches your thirst. Say goodbye to dehydration and hello to hydration. Visit hermanswater.com to order your supply today that can deliver to your home or office for free. Ask about our new customer offer of 1 month free rental and 2 free bottles. Herman's Water, when taste matters.
Water Fire Sharon returns for the last event of the season on Saturday, September 21st. High energy, juvenile characteristics play from 4 to 6:30 p.m. Then Four Kings and the Queen take the stage from 8 to 10 p.m. At dusk, we light up the Shenango River. Watch for our world-class fire performer throughout the evening and the children's area featured from 3 to 7 p.m. Come early, stay late. See for yourself the magic of Water Fire. For more information, visit waterfiresharonpa.org.
I'm hungry.
Well, I know just the place to go.
They got what I like?
Oh, yeah.
Win. Wait, what about drinks?
Well, it's a bar and grill, so yeah, you're covered.
Win-win.
Speaking of win, they've got gaming too, so you can
Win.
Come sit down for a great meal, a great drink, a great time, or all three. Vase Pub and Grill has just what you want. So come by for good eats, cold drinks, and the latest ways to win. Vase Pub and Grill, East State Street, Hermitage.
It's the Pick Sports Line, presented by Flynn's Tire and Auto Service. Need tires right now? Drive through the new speed lane at Flynn's Tire and Hermitage to get your new tires installed fast. Just drive in, and we'll get you in at Flynn's. And tell them Flinny sent you.
Well, Jerry Dulac just posted, thanks to Mike on Facebook for the tip. Steelers are apparently bringing back Terrell Edmonds, safety. Edmonds was on the Jacksonville practice squad, so he's being added to the 53-man roster. That was about less than an hour ago, Hugh. What's the story there?
He's getting up in years. I'm going to guess that Terrell Edmonds is...
Now you're going to make me look.
Now about 31, maybe 32. Of course, had a good career at Vautech.
Terrell Edmonds is 27.
Is he only 27?
Oh, my goodness, Hugh.
Well, did he lose his skills early or what?
I don't know, but the Steelers lost him, and now he's coming back.
Well, that's great news. I mean, he knew the system well. I don't think he was ever, and I think you would agree with this, I don't think he was ever fully able to do a lot of the things or some of the things that his secondary coaches wanted him to do. But they now have people like Minkah Fitzpatrick and, DeMonte KZ who can do those little things, plus the big things that you expect from Minkah. But Terrell Edmonds knew the system. He loved Pittsburgh. He hated to leave. He knew his time was up, and it's nice that he is coming back. Maybe they want that sixth safety, Bob. I don't know that any of the safeties got hurt yesterday, but it's a pretty nice group with Minkah and Deshaun Elliott starting, with DeMonte Kazee as the third guy who can come in and play the free safety and fly around and put his life in danger with head-hunting hits. And then Miles Killebrew is their captain and special teams ace. And then they have Jalen Elliott, who he left and he came back. But Jalen Elliott's job might be in jeopardy now that they've re-signed Terrell Edmonds. Well, that's good news. Is his brother still playing linebacker for the Buffalo Bills?
I do not know that.
And his brother is a better player than he is. He's an outside linebacker, and I think he made at least 3 Pro Bowls.
Yeah. But he's a brother and doesn't play for the Steelers, so who cares?
I knew you were going to say that.
Made a lot of Pro Bowls. Patrick Queen.
Yeah.
And he was quiet yesterday.
Well,
I was disappointed in him.
Listen, Patrick Queen is an all-pro player. He's gonna have his days, believe me. I think maybe they weren't, I don't know what to say, but he and Landon Roberts, neither one from what I could see, racked up any impressive stats yesterday. But they had some mean dudes in the middle of that line, the Falcons did, and then maybe they got hats on them and kind of controlled them pretty well. But anyway, they're going to have their day. Don't you worry. This is the best linebacking group the Steelers have had since they were making the playoffs regularly, Bob.
Deshaun Watson yesterday, Hugh, 24 of 45, 169 yards, 1 TD, 2 interceptions.
Well, a friend of mine who knows a lot of football watched most of that Browns game, and his comment, and understand he's a Steeler fan, so This is how he felt. He said Watson was terrible. I don't know whether Browns fans would agree or not.
He was terrible. No, I think everybody would agree. And it's getting to meltdown stage right now in Cleveland if Watson continues to play at this level. And then you look on the NFL scoreboard, and former Brown Baker Mayfield for Tampa Bay was 24-30, 289 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. They got rid of Baker Mayfield, and they gave Watson the Brinks truck.
And we were talking about that over coffee today. And again, another great move by the Brownies. Great move by the Brownies. But, I got to hand it. I have respect for Baker Mayfield. He never played for the Steelers. But you know what? This guy was put down in Cleveland. He did not make it the first, 2 or 3 years. And he has studied the game. He has recalibrated, so to speak. He works his tail off. And wasn't he in the Pro Bowl last year or picked for that?
I don't know.
But the point is, he was at least recognized as one of the NFL's better quarterbacks last year. And, I say congrats. He deserves credit.
I said on this show multiple times when he was on his outs, I would have taken him in Pittsburgh as the follow-up to Big Ben in a heartbeat.
Well,
but there were some people didn't like him. They thought he was overrated. Cleveland fans were ridiculing him, and now he's getting the last laugh.
Let me tell you what, hindsight's 20/20, but I would say you're onto something there. If they would have had Mayfield, I don't know whether we would have fit into our offense or not, but if you're looking at the talent now, back then, if they'd have taken a shot with Mayfield, they would have been a better football team than they were with some of these other quarterbacks that they used.
I would imagine Mayfield could have handled our pedestrian offense. I would think he'd be okay with that.
I think so. He studies the game, and he's a bright, as they would say, he's a bright dude.
Steelers in Denver this week, Hugh, at 4:25. Just a quick thought.
Well, I haven't studied the Bronx very much. They're not a team that scares the
rookie quarterback,
the jabbers out of you. Who is their rookie quarterback?
Bo Nix.
Bo Nix, that's right, and he's an underrated quarterback in the scheme of things this year.
138 yards yesterday and 2 interceptions.
Yeah, he had a rough first game. Let's hope he has a rough second game. That should suit the Steelers well. They can maybe pull some tricks on him. But, when you're playing Denver and you're playing them out there, the first thing you have to think about is what? The rarefied air. Is there going to be anybody on our team who is going to be huffing and puffing into oxygen on the sidelines in between series? That's the thing that has to concern you. I don't know whether the Steelers are going out a day early or not, but it might behoove them to do so, Bob, because some of them may have trouble handling the air of Mile High. This is not a glamour football team. But the way I've always looked at the Broncos, Bob, they're tough to beat in their home park. They have loyal fans that never quit on them, and they're usually fundamentally sound.
Seattle rushed for 100 and how many yards? 146 yards yesterday against Denver. Mm-hmm. That could be a good day for Najee.
And I think it's time that regardless of who the quarterback is, you're going to have Najee, you have Jalen. I think it's the best 1-2 punch that I know in the AFC. Give them the ball and let's try it.
Before we close out this first hour, we want to send our condolences to the Scarmack family. Greg Scarmack, a longtime listener of this program, even to his final days in the hospital. We were told by his sister he listened to us, and we send our prayers, our thoughts for Greg Scarmack here tonight, a super sports fan here in the Shenango Valley. Our thoughts are with you and your family on this difficult time.
Absolutely.
It's going to do it for the first hour of the Pick Sports Line. Stay tuned. Pit Talk coming up next here, presented by Flynn's Tire and Auto Service.
You're listening to News Talk 790 WPIC, Sharon, Hermitage, and Sports Radio 96.7 WLLF, Mercer, Hermitage, a Cumulus station.
This is the CBS World News Roundup Late Edition, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Linda Kenyon. Actor James Earl Jones, star of stage and screen with a signature voice, has died. CBS's Danya Bacchus has the story.
Are you the Black Hope? Well, I'm black and I'm hoping.
Jones starred in The Great White Hope on stage and film, earning critical acclaim. The role landed him a Tony, a Golden Globe, and an Oscar nomination.
I am your father.
With those 4 words, James Earl Jones made pop culture history as the voice of Darth Vader in the Star Wars series.
The sun will set on my time here and will rise with you as the new king.
New generations became familiar with his deep voice through his role as Mufasa in The Lion King.
Oh, there's more to being king than getting your way all the time.
James Earl Jones died at his home in the Hudson Valley region of New York. He was 93. In California, the flames are crackling and the wildlife are fleeing a scorching wildfire in the foothills of a national forest east of Los Angeles. CBS's Ben Tracy is following.
They do feel like they're turning a bit of a corner, being able to fight this both from the air and from the ground. But obviously, we're also contending with heat. It's going to be about 100 degrees here today. That makes this firefight all the more grueling.
A separate fire is burning in the foothills of a national forest east of Los Angeles. Kamala Harris and Donald Trump face off in Philadelphia tomorrow in a high-stakes debate. CBS's Stacey Lynn with the answer to a question many are wondering.
Will President Biden be watching?
He will be watching. We'll be watching in New York.
While White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre wouldn't say if he's spoken to Vice President Harris or offered her any advice.
I'm not going to preview or confirm any conversations between the president and the vice president. As you know, they speak often.
But she did say
he supports the vice president, is very proud of her.
Stacey Lynn, CBS News, the White House.
The Princess of Wales says she has completed chemotherapy. She spoke in a video released by Kensington Palace.
Doing what I can to stay cancer-free is now my focus. Although I have finished chemotherapy, my path to healing and full recovery is long.
Kate Middleton says she plans to return as a working royal and that she will be working from home. She last attended a ceremonial birthday parade for her father-in-law, King Charles III, in June, and the following month she presented the men's winners' trophy at the Wimbledon Tennis Championships. And disgraced movie producer Weinstein is in a hospital after emergency surgery. CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. We offer auto, home, and commercial auto insurance, plus a variety of business insurance options. Visit Progressive.com today.
Warning, the following ZipRecruiter radio spot you are about to hear is going to be filled with F words.
When you're hiring, we at ZipRecruiter know you can feel frustrated, forlorn even, like your efforts are futile, and you can spend a fortune trying to find fabulous people, only to get flooded with candidates who are just fine.
Not fun.
Fortunately, ZipRecruiter figured out how to fix all of that. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, you can forget your frustrations because we find the right people for your roles fast, which is our absolute favorite F word. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day.
Fantastic.
So, whether you need to hire 4, 40, or 400 people, get ready to meet first-rate talent. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. Don't forget, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Finally, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
We're not even halfway through September, and lots of trick-or-treaters are already thinking about how they're going to dress up for Halloween. CBS's Deborah Rodriguez reports.
The living, the dead. Google Trends search data show popular movies are driving interest in this year's costumes, including Beetlejuice 2, which just won the weekend box office, along with a holdover hit.
I don't know anything about saving worlds.
Deadpool and Wolverine suits are big sellers at Spirit stores, so are Ghostbusters, Inside Out 2, and cheerleader costumes.
I think that I found myself a cheerleader.
Those thanks to Netflix Dallas Cowboys documentary. And who can leave out Taylor, Travis, Harris, or Trump? Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
The new Beetlejuice movie topped the weekend box office. The sequel debuted with $110 million in ticket sales. Linda Kenyon, CBS News.
It's the Pick Sports Line, presented by Flynn's Tire and Auto Service. Need tires right now? Drive through the new speed lane at Flynn's Tire and Hermitage to get your new tires installed fast. Just drive in, and we'll get you in at Flynn's. And tell them Flinny sent you.
And we are back, Pick Sports Line, Bob and Hugh. And now joining us is Jerry DePaula, Trib Live Media. Jerry, we could have probably do an hour tonight of Pitt Talk with all the topics that have reached the headlines here this afternoon. And I guess the biggest headline was the shocker this morning that Pitt announced that Heather Lyke, their athletic director, has been let go as the AD. I know you've been on the story all day. What have you found out?
Well, a lot of people are shocked by this. A lot of people outside of Pittsburgh and outside of the university. It didn't surprise me all that much, to tell you the truth, Bob. Because first of all, our contract is up this year. Okay, Pitt and the new chancellor, Joan Gable, was trying to negotiate a new one with her. It wasn't working out, and she, of course, had been up for some other jobs over the years. Most recently, the Northwestern job at the end of August that she didn't get. Schools their own size in the ACC, and of course, there's schools like Ohio State and Texas A&M they're way behind us. And I think Heather, who was very good at hiring people, very good at glad handing and making friends with the wealthy donors. Her background's in compliance. It's not in business. And right now, college athletics is huge business, billion-dollar businesses, and she wasn't keeping up with that. Maybe Joan Gable wasn't happy with the plan she was presenting for the NIL funding over the next several years. And the third thing would be, Victory Heights. Here's Victory Heights, a $250 million facility being built right next door to the Peterson Event Center, and a lot of it's not being paid for. It's sinking into debt to get that thing under construction, and they're supposed to move in next year. And it's not even for the major sports; it's only for the Olympic sports. Football, of course, is on the south side of Pittsburgh, and men's and women's basketball are in the Pete. So the other Olympic sports are very good. Volleyball ascended to number one in the nation today. Of course, both soccer programs are very good. They won a wrestling national championship, Nino Buonacorsi, a year ago. So all of those sports are doing well, and football fell off last year, but is mostly on a pretty good trajectory. Basketball's doing okay too after a slow start, and she's done a good job hiring coaches, but she's also hired some bad ones too. She had to fire the women's basketball coach she hired, and she had to fire a couple other ones she hired, and she chased out Joe Giordano, the winningest baseball coach in Pitt history, who resigned, under her watch. So she's done a lot of good at Pitt, but not enough good, I don't think, and it caught up to her today.
I guess my question is, with all that said, why today? The timing seems to be impeccably bad, considering Pitt's coming off one of the most memorable wins in school history. They have their biggest rival coming up this week, and it would appear that this decision to get rid of her for a variety of reasons could have been handled at a different time, especially with her contract coming to an end.
Well, I was thinking about that too myself, Bob, but Pitt is also inducting a Hall of Fame class on Friday night, the night before the West Virginia game. And maybe, they knew she was going to be out. Maybe they knew she was going to be out weeks ago and just hadn't gotten around to it. And maybe they didn't want her being front and center at the Hall of Fame induction and front and center at Acrisure Stadium, when they bring the Hall of Fame inductees out into the middle of the field to honor them, and then 2 days later, firing her. Maybe they didn't like the look of that, and maybe that's why they did it today. She wouldn't have to be presiding over the Hall of Fame ceremonies this weekend. So that's one thought about it, and it was kind of strange. I don't think that the victory against Cincinnati had nothing to do with Heather Lyke, whether she was going to stay or go. I think the decision was made way before that. Maybe as late as this summer when they couldn't come to a contract extension with her, and now they got to go out and find a guy with a business background as much as a football background.
I was just going to ask you that question, Jerry, and that makes total sense. Are you hearing anything about any names in this early stage? And do you think that a glad-handed fundraiser is the kind of a person they need?
Yeah, and Heather was that. I mean, she got remember Chris Bickle, donated $20 million to the football program. Aaron Donald donated $1 million to the football program. She has gotten some good donations. I think that the group of donors just isn't big enough. I think that needs to grow. Whether they're wealthy or not, they need to have more people supporting the program. I have not heard any names yet. It's way too early. I tell you what, I think that's unfair to throw a guy's name out just because you think he might be interested or you think Pitt might be interested in him. You see that all the time when a job opens up and people speculate, oh, this guy is from this coach from this other school. He might be interested in job. When really nobody really knows unless you actually speak to the person face to face, and that never happens because most people don't want their employer to know that they're interested in other jobs.
Sure.
I think the one thing what's interesting to me is that, in addition to the timing of it, is trying to find somebody at a Division I level. Obviously, somebody that's at an AD position now is not going to come to Pitt. You're looking for maybe a high-quality assistant somewhere. Are they going to be interested in moving, mid-season? But I think the timing of it makes it maybe a little bit more of a challenge as well.
Yeah, it does. Heather was hired in March, coming from Eastern Michigan, and from a smaller school. So if you find somebody at a smaller school who has aspirations to work in a power conference, be AD at a power conference school, you can do that right now. Maybe you're not going to get the Clemson AD or the Florida State AD to come up here in the middle of the school year. But I think you can. Pitt has a lot going for it. And most of their programs are very successful. They have a pretty good endowment. Their coaches seem stable for a while. Football and basketball coaches are both hired or signed through the 2030 season. So I think won't have too much trouble finding a qualified candidate. It may take a while. I think I wanted to look this up today, but I think they hired Heather maybe 2 months after Scott Barnes left, and they hired Scott Barnes maybe 2 months after Steve Peterson was fired. So it's not going to be an easy thing. It's not going to be tomorrow, unless Joan Gable has somebody in mind that we don't know about, and she brings them in right away, which would be fine with me, actually.
Jerry, you've covered Pitt and watched Pitt all your life. How improbable was that victory on Saturday?
I was stunned. I was stunned. I was sitting there watching it, and they were stumbling and bumbling, and the offense was going nowhere. The defense was giving up big chunks of yardage. And then all of a sudden, the whole thing switched. It was like it was two different teams out there. And you got to give a lot of credit to Eli Holstein, the redshirt freshman quarterback, who really played well in the fourth quarter of that game. Threw 3 touchdown passes, threw the big pass to Konate Mumpfield to set up the field goal. And the defense was making stops that they weren't making before. These guys have a belief. Whether that can translate into victory after victory after victory, I don't know, because their schedule is going to get tougher as the season goes on. But if they can beat West Virginia on Saturday, and then they got Youngstown State after that, it would be the first year ever that Pitt has been undefeated in non-conference games. In the series of non-conference games, they actually were undefeated in 2020 in non-conference games because they only played one. That was a COVID year. But yeah, if you win this one, you beat Youngstown, take your 4-0 going to North Carolina. Who knows what kind of momentum, what kind of trust, what kind of belief and confidence that could build in this team.
Yeah, that would be a lot of momentum, no doubt about it. Now, Jerry, what's your gut feeling with the Mountaineers and the Panthers? Do the Panthers have a shot? I kind of sensed maybe a month or so ago when you were talking about Pitt football, you didn't think maybe that the chances were that great, but you feel they have a shot. I assume. I
was surprised when Penn State handled West Virginia as easily as it did 2 weeks ago down in Morgantown. I thought West Virginia was going to give them a much better game, but they were never in that game. But they do have a good running game. 2 good running backs, and Pitt was having trouble stopping the Cincinnati running back for about 2.5 quarters last Saturday. And their defense is young. The linebackers are young. They're going to make a lot of mistakes. So they're very athletic. But a lot of times they're going to go in the wrong direction, and that can cost you 20 or 25 yards. And that could happen. WVU has a nice quarterback in Garrett Green, and I think Neil Bryant has a program on the upswing, even though they got clobbered by Penn State. and they beat Albany last week, but that was an FCS team. So it'll tell a lot about both teams how this game turns out. But I think it's going to be a close game. And I'm sorry, but I think Pitt's going to win. I wasn't so sure about it a month ago, but the way Holstein is playing and the way those receivers and Desmond Reed. How about Desmond Reed? He's leading the country in all-purpose yardage right now, just under 300 yards a game. That kind of speed is hard to contain, and if they can keep him healthy all year, and he's only 5'8", 175, they keep him healthy all year. They got a shot to have a decent season.
Wasn't he hurt a couple of times in the game Saturday, Jerry?
Oh, he was limping
That's
a
what I
lot
thought.
in the fourth quarter of that game, but he came back in the game, and he had that long touchdown pass, catch and run, that turned into a 56 yards, I think. We just ran away from everybody. That linebacker, looked like he was stunned that Reed was running that fast, and he ran right past him. I asked Narduzzi about Reed's limp on Saturday. I asked him that today, and he said, "Oh, I didn't notice anything." He said he wasn't limping on Sunday when he came in here. I can guarantee you that. He said so. We'll see.
Jerry, was Pat Narduzzi asked after the game? Are you aware about the decision to go for 2? Which,
yes, he was.
And what was his explanation?
2. Well, he didn't do it the first time, he said, because it was too soon. But the second and third time, he said the analytics told him that's the way to go. He was trying to avoid overtime, what he was trying to do. He was trying to get to a position. They had just kicked the extra point after all 3 of those touchdowns. It would have been a tie game. They ended up kicking the field goal to win it because they had not enough time on the clock to do it. But if they had gotten at least one of those 2-point conversions, they wouldn't have needed the field goal. They would have been fine. They would have won the game. They would have had the lead. But they missed both of them. The first one, I thought, Kenny Johnson was open, but Holstein just missed him. He was a little bit wide. And the third one had no chance because he was sacked right away. But that was it. He thought the analytics told him they could go for it. It's only 2 yards, but it didn't work out. And he was just trying to avoid overtime because he probably didn't think that his defense could hold up in overtime.
I think and it was mentioned. Then obviously that turned out the right way for Pitt. But can you imagine the uproar tonight if Pitt would have lost 27-25 with maybe one of the best kickers in the country on their sideline?
I know that field goal saved Narduzzi a lot of grief. That's for sure. But they listen to these analytics guys, and sometimes it backfires, and it almost did there. But they ended up winning the game. So I questioned it. I thought it was a bad decision both times. I thought you kick it, and then you see what happens in overtime. But he didn't want to play overtime on the road, I guess, and that's what happened. And luckily, he has Ben Sauls that bailed him on, and Eli Holstein too.
Now I know it's only week 2 or game 2, but I'll ask you this question: if you had to pick the offensive MVP for this team, who would it be?
Desmond Reed, by far. He was the first Pitt player ever to get 100 yards receiving and 100 yard rushing in the same game. Thank God for the transfer portal. He really has turned into. He right now, I think he's the leading candidate for ACC Player of the Year. He's Offensive Player of the Year, and it's only after 2 games against Cincinnati and Kent State. So let's not get carried away. But he's easily, in my mind, the Pitt MVP right now.
Obviously, Saturday it's going to be a circus down at Acrisure. It'll be a packed house. The weather looks like it's going to be fantastic. This is a huge game, isn't it? I mean, obviously, Pitt loses. It doesn't impact anything in the long run, but the momentum they built through 2 weeks would go away with a loss to their arch rival.
Oh, yeah. They were embarrassed last year when they lost down in Morgantown 17-6 and couldn't even score a touchdown. And they want to erase that. They want to erase all those bad memories. The offense is way different this year. It's much more effective. It's much more productive, much more explosive. There's no excuse for them to get beat by West Virginia at home. Okay, West Virginia is a good program, but and by the way, they've beaten Pitt 4 out of the last 5 years. The Pitt really hasn't been that successful against West Virginia since that 13-9 game, back so many years ago. So it's a big game for Pitt because it's a rivalry game, but it's also a big game to give them a boost for the rest of the season.
It's interesting. The bettors have Pitt as the underdog by 2.5.
Yeah, I saw it was 2.5 points. I'm not a betting man, but I think I take the points and go with Pitt in this game, but because they got Ben Saul, so he's 5 for 5 in field goals. He hit a 53-yarder on Saturday, so he can erase a lot of ills. If your offense is struggling, as the Steelers found out yesterday, your kicker can make up for those sufferings.
Jerry, we appreciate your time as always and your insight. Have a great week, and we look forward to chatting with you next Monday.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Take care.
Jerry.
All right, Jerry DePaula. And obviously also a side story here when it comes to the game Saturday. We have one of our own will be playing on Saturday for West Virginia, Jaquay Hubbard.
Yeah, that's right.
Former Sharpsville All-Stater is a starting offensive lineman for the Mountaineers.
What's his number?
He is number 66.
66, and he won't be difficult to pick out, will he? He's a big one.
He is big. And obviously, Mountaineers are doing okay, but I'm sure they're not going to be very happy if they lose to Pitt on Saturday. But so keep your eye on Jaquay. Also, a programming note, we will have the broadcast of Pitt, West Virginia as soon as the Sippy Rock Grove City High School game ends. It's going to be very close. I don't think we'll miss any of the Pitt game, but I don't doubt we'll have any of the Pitt pregame show on 96.7. We have a caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Hi, you're on the Pitt Sports Line.
Yes, good evening, guys. Good show. Hail to Pitt. And I was just coming in the door. I'm sorry, Arthur, who passed away?
Greg Scarmack.
Arthur or Scarmack?
Greg Scarmack.
Okay, thank you, sir.
No problem. Greg was a loyal. Greg was one of those guys, Hugh, that he took radios to every game he went to, and he would listen to us.
Guy, yeah,
he would listen to us on the sideline.
Transistor guy.
Yes. And his sister told me in a post to me privately last night that they always asked him, "Why are you bringing a radio to the game when you're watching the game?" And he said, "I love listening to Mark and Briggsy and Bob and Birch because they gave me so much insight and make me feel like I know the game even more listening to those guys." So it's a tough loss, and we really feel awful about Greg passing away. Hugh, did you watch any college football this weekend?
Well, I was not home except to see the game-winning kick by Sauls for Pitt in that miracle comeback win that they had Saturday. And I just watched bits and pieces Saturday night, so the answer is no. I really want to hunker down and see this Pitt-West Virginia game this coming Saturday.
Notre Dame lost? You aware of that?
I'm always happy when that occurs. I hear they looked absolutely terrible.
Michigan lost.
Yeah.
To Texas.
Yeah.
Here's the big thing today. So Penn State, they were 34-point favorites at home to Bowling Green. Penn State wins the game 34-27. They were trailing 24-20 at half. Okay?
Yeah.
Going into last weekend, week 2, Penn State was ranked 8th in the country. Let me reiterate. They're ranked 8th. They win by 7 at home, favored by 34, trailing at halftime to a non-ranked team. And guess where they're ranked this day?
They came up 2 spots.
They're 8th. They're still 8th.
They're still 8th.
It did not drop 1 spot. How's that possible?
That's hard to figure. Very, very hard
to
figure.
Are the pollsters, are they not doing their work?
Well, I guess the bottom line is they may have kept them there because they ended up winning the game. And some didn't do that. So that would be the thing to look at, Bob. See these other highly rated teams going into the game on Saturday, and they didn't get the job done. They probably dropped 5-6 points.
I can't even believe it. I mean, I can't believe that 34-point favorite at home, trailing at halftime, only win by 7, and it doesn't impact your rating at all.
Yeah, I know. That is strange. No doubt.
Hard to even look at it.
Yeah, I agree.
Talking about hard to look at, the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Up again, down again.
Mostly down again.
Yep.
Paul Skeens is pitching tonight, by the way.
Okay.
Seeking his 10th win. So that's the headline of the night. as they open up against the Miami Marlins. He's looking for his 4th straight decision.
They're not much good.
No. So you would like his chances. The Marlins are even way worse than the Pirates when it comes to their record. Let's see who's playing tonight for the Pirates. Oh, Kutch is batting 4th.
He's back.
DHing, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Reynolds is batting 2nd. Gonzalez is leading off. Roddy Telez, Grandel, Triolo, Williams is at shortstop. Henry Davis got hurt again, I see.
What happened to him?
Hurt his hand.
Oh.
He's out for a week.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Hayes is out. My goodness. So the Pirates right now are 67-76. So they have 16 games left. They would need to go, they're 9 games under. So they would need to go, 14-2, no, 13-3. 13-3 to go over 500.
They won't. They won't.
What is going on? Let's see. The Guardians are 2.5 games up.
Yeah, the Guardians lost 2 out of 3 to the Dodgers.
Oh, boy.
And then, let's see.
They're playing the White Sox tonight.
The White Sox. Well, they're back home because they're back in the god-awful division.
White Sox have 111 losses.
Yes, they ought to win that game tonight. And they need to sweep the White Sox. They're in very good shape for the playoffs, though, Bob, unless they have a real collapse. I think they're in good shape. Now, I won't say that somebody either, Minnesota or not the Texas Rangers, but the
they have an 8.5 game lead for the last wild card right now. So they're
in good shape for the wild card. But the 2 teams in their division, I think, are capable of pushing them. Kansas City Royals and Minnesota Twins. They're both up and down a little bit, but they're very competitive. So the race is not over. The Guardians are having a heck of a year, though. Bob, if you looked at their pitching staff, you'd see what I mean. They have a couple of guys who are decent, but my goodness, they can't trot a quality starting rotation out there to save their soul. They just can't.
We have a caller. Let's go to the lines. Hi, you're on the air.
Yeah, Bob, the Pirates have more than 16 games left to play. I think it's about 23 or something like. Thanks.
Wait a minute. 23 more
games? How could they?
I mean, it's there's only the Pirates right now. They've played.
This is the 9th.
They've played 143. They have 19 games left.
Yeah.
Okay, so they have 19 games left. It's the 9th of September, and they're done by the end of the month. So they have 19 games to go. So they would need, they still need to have an incredible finish here to get over 500.
And I don't think you have any indication that they're capable of that.
No. But Paul Skeens is pitching tonight.
Well, you're always favored to win when Paul Skeens is on the mound. And that's the only thing that would gather my interest. Of course, you know me, when there's a football game on, an NFL game, I'm going to watch that NFL game.
And you're watching that tonight, of course, with the 49ers taking on your beloved Aaron Rodgers.
My beloved Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers.
And my beloved 49ers who dragged the Steelers through the mud.
Who are you rooting for then?
I'm not rooting for anybody, and it won't be for Ayuk.
You know he's going to have like 10 catches for 175 and 2 touchdowns.
He probably will. Hey, that was a good Sunday night football game.
I didn't see it.
Very good game. I'll tell you, both those teams are legitimate playoff teams. No question about it.
Well, I didn't see the end of it. It went too long for me. Hank does say, that's a good point, Hank. Michigan and Notre Dame were both ranked ahead of Penn State, and they both lost.
Mm-hmm.
So that, I guess, contributed to Penn State not dropping that much. But still, it makes no sense to me, Hank. But I understand what you're saying. We need a break. We'll come back and change gears. This Week in District 10 coming up next. This is the Pick Sports Line presented by Flynn's Tire right here on 790 WPIC Sports Radio 96.7.
Hi, this is Joe Flynn with Flynn's Tire. We know how valuable your time is, so we've made it fast, easy, and affordable to buy tires. There's 3 easy ways to purchase tires from Flynn. First, just drive in, because Flynn's will get you in right now. No appointment necessary. The second option, give us a call, and we'll help you select and reserve the perfect tire for you. The third option, save time and buy online at flynnstire.com. It's that easy. Just drive in, and Flynn's will get you in right now.
Tell them Finney sent you.
Our goal is to provide patients with the strongest, most effective, and safest options in this exciting field of regenerative medicine.
Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, National Medical Director at QC Kinetics.
The idea that you can avoid a joint replacement is very exciting.
And that's from a surgeon who's done thousands of joint replacements, but who now believes there's a better way.
Regenerative medicine, as we understand it today, gives lasting pain relief, improved function, without surgery, without drugs.
Under Dr. Scheinkup's leadership, QC Kinetics medical professionals treat patients every day with the most advanced protocols in natural biologics. Literally tens of thousands of people all over America.
I've been doing research on regenerative medicine for 2 decades. This is the future of medicine.
Call QC Kinetics for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 330-693-5037. That's 330-693-5037. Located in Howland, 330-693-5037.
Warning, the following ZipRecruiter radio spot you are about to hear is going to be filled with F words.
When you're hiring, we at ZipRecruiter know you can feel frustrated, forlorn even, like your efforts are futile, and you can spend a fortune trying to find fabulous people, only to get flooded with candidates who are just fine.
Not fun.
Fortunately, ZipRecruiter figured out how to fix all of that. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, you can forget your frustrations because we find the right people for your roles fast, which is our absolute favorite F word. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day.
Fantastic.
So, whether you need to hire 4, 40, or 400 people, get ready to meet first-rate talent. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. Don't forget, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Finally, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Now it's time for This Week in District 10. This Week in District 10 is brought to you by Flynn's Tires and Auto Service. Here's Bob Greenberg and the Erie Times' Tom Reisenweber.
And it's that time of the week, This Week in District 10. Joining us is Tom Reisenweber of the Erie Times, GoErie.com. And Tom, the headline once again on Friday night was Mother Nature playing an impact on so many games here in District 10.
Yeah, it was, I think, almost every game, I think, except for 1 or 2, had some sort of delay, whether it was 15 minutes or an hour or 2 hours. And I like the safety aspect of it, not playing until it's completely clear, but it's got to be tough for these kids to get the adrenaline rush of a game going early on, then you got to turn it off and go take a break, and don't know when you're going to play again. Then get back up for that game once it's resumed. And one game had to be postponed until Saturday. Then we had rain all day up here on Saturday. I was soaked when I covered an afternoon game. So usually you see this in October, cool temperatures and rain, but a lot of that so far this season. But it seems like a lot of teams are adjusting to it pretty well.
The thing that was bizarre to me when it was all said and done was that Farrell, their game got stopped the end of the second quarter, never got resumed. Sharon, 2 miles apart, played their entire game.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know if that's just the edge of the weather, how bad it was, or if, it just was a lot more worse 2 miles away, which is crazy. But, it's interesting to see, how the weather kind of stops at some point, or if it's just too heavy on one point and, soaks the field, and especially when you have like a grass field compared to a turf field. Usually when the advantage of the turf field is you keep going and you keep playing in it because the surface can take that kind of rain. So it's kind of interesting, that way that worked out. But after going through Saturday where it was either a downpour or sunshine every 5 minutes in Albion, I can believe the weather can play a lot of tricks on people.
Yeah, at that point, I'm sure everybody was happy just to get out of Friday night. So we've completed 3 weeks here in District 10. There are 4 teams undefeated: Reynolds, Seneca, Hickory, and Cathedral Prep. Which one surprises you most?
I would have to say it's a tie between Reynolds and Seneca. Both teams lost some pretty good players from last year. Reynolds obviously had some decent players back, especially Zachrich, but in Manjaros. But the numbers were so low at camp, and things weren't going well. That I thought, well, it could take a little while to get going this year, but it didn't take them any time at all. They're winning some big games and winning in clutch situations. And I think what's surprising me about Seneca is not only they're 3-0, but they're dominating on the ground. I think that's kind of a culture thing that Jack Corey has developed, that no matter who they graduate, 2 years ago, they had that great rushing duo of Ryan Miller and Nolan Seabury, and both are gone now. But now they have this new duo with Moats, who's a freshman, and Ryan Harwood, who's a junior at quarterback. Same kind of thing, running the same offense. So it's almost like they developed this culture of no matter who we put in, they're going to run for a lot of yards. So they have a huge game this week against Mercier's Prep. Could be for the region title in Region 3, so we'll see what happens there. But, I think both teams, Seneca, after what they lost, I didn't think they'd be 3-0, and I certainly didn't think Reynolds would be 3-0, but both teams are really having a good season.
Talking about having a good season, I think one of the good stories of the year so far has been the play of Greenville under head coach Mike Menold. Mike Menold 1-9 last year, already doubled that win total with their second win in a row. Their longest, or at least their first back-to-back wins in 3 years. And being in Region 2, looks like Greenville has a good chance to win that region title.
Yeah, I had someone ask me before this past week, why do you think Wilmington and Greenville are going to be so good in 1A when they haven't played these teams? And the answer was simple, that they're Mercer County tested. I know it's torture having to play in a region with Barrel, Sharon, Hickory, Charlottesville, all these teams, but it really got them used to a high level of play. So when they went down, both teams, when they went down to 1A, they're really far ahead of these 1A teams because of how tough their schedule has been. These kids have been through some battles and some wars with the best teams in District 10. So going to Cambridge Springs isn't going to phase a team like Greenville after what they've been through the last couple of years. So that was a nice statement win. I think it all started with the opening kickoff. They returned for a touchdown. And to shut out an offense like Cambridge Springs does a lot for Greenville. I think they're far and away the favorite now in that region. And we talked about maybe Wilmington and Greenville for the 1A title in D10 in all preseason. That could very well come true. Obviously, these teams could play each other again, but that's a big statement win for Greenville to win that on the road at Cambridge Springs. Lakeview, obviously, a setback this week with that loss to Sagertown. But they're still in it, very much in it. Reynolds is still very much in it. But I think Wilmington and Greenville, they've got to be the two best teams in 1A right now.
Talking about Greenville, we had reported and we talked about it on this program about the 2-year suspension to their volunteer assistant coach, Gary Hall, a couple weeks ago by District 10. Well, today he had his time in court as there were official charges filed against him. Well, he was ruled innocent today, not guilty of the charges. So there's no charges. It goes away. It's interesting to me. Don't you think? District 10 suspended him for 2 years, but then he goes to court and there's no charges. Your thought?
Yeah, I think it's two different worlds that we're living in with this whole situation. Obviously, the actual court has their procedures, and there's really no emotion to it. They kind of look at the facts and rule on what they rule on with the evidence. But in the sports world, the attacks on officials, and I'm not saying this is an attack, but making contact with an official is a big deal. And we're trying to protect officials at this point. We're running out of them. We need more of them. So I think the emotion of that kind of sets in more in the sports world, where you get a 2-year suspension for a coach for doing that. So I think it's one of those things. It's tough because District 10 has sent a message to everyone saying you can't come after officials anymore. We're going to do something about it. And in one afternoon, the court erases that. So I still think there's got to be a punishment. Obviously, I haven't seen the evidence and gone through the trial and everything like that. But if he did shove an official, there's got to be a severe punishment, because they have to send a message that you can't do this to the officials anymore. We need to protect them, so we keep them around, because without officials, we don't have sports. So it's just tough, because you don't want to blame the court system. You don't want to blame District 10. It's just two different situations we're living in right now.
Talking about tough, Kennedy Catholic football program announced late last week, Thursday, Knight, to be specific, that they were not able to play their game against Sharpsville and had to forfeit on Saturday. No update as of yet for their scheduled game with Wilmington this Saturday. What does District 10 do with Kennedy at this point?
It's tough because you don't want to take away an opportunity for these kids to play, but it's just not fair to their opponents, to them, to officials, to fans, to family. At this point, I mean, you can't. You're not going to have a full team. It's just not that way unless you start recruiting a bunch of kids out of school and get your numbers way up. You're going to have to keep doing this every single week. It's just not fair to anybody else. I mean, if they waited till Thursday last week, where Sharpsville could have maybe found a game, and you give up a region win if you do that, but you still want to play. And if they wait till Thursday again this week, you're taking a chance away from Wilmington. And what about future opponents? I know Kennedy, I think, is the homecoming game for Maplewood. What if they wait till the last second and cancel that game? So Maplewood has no homecoming game, whereas right now, maybe they can go find somebody that has an open date that day. So I think they have to have a real conversation about the situation that we're probably not going to be able to play a game again. And if we do, it's going to be just as bad as week one, and then we'll have to cancel more games because of injuries. It's just not fair to anybody else in the situation. So I think at this point, you got to say, you know what, we're either going to cancel the varsity season, play some JV games, try to get numbers up for next year, and do that, or it's just they got to make some kind of call. It can't be week to week and canceling on Thursdays. It's just not a fair situation.
Week 4 coming up this weekend, highlighted down here with the Shenango Valley Showdown between Hickory and Sharon. Two longtime great rivals, had 2 classic games last year, one for the District 10 championship. Just your thought about Hickory Sharon.
It's one of my favorite developing rivalries here. It's a developed rivalry, but one of my developing favorite ones because of when I was in camp for both schools, they wouldn't even say each other's names. It was Hermitage or the Tigers or that team. It wasn't Sharon or Hickory. That's how much of a rivalry it is. And even Cathedral Prep and McDowell will say Prep and McDowell, but these two won't even say each other's names, which I love. So it's going to be a great game. Obviously, there are some pros and cons to each team. To me, I think the biggest matchup in the showdown is the Hickory line versus that Sharon defensive line. Both are probably top 2, top 3 in District 10 at their positions, so that's going to be a great battle right there. I would give a slight edge to Hickory for quarterback play. I would give Sharon an edge on experience on that defense. So there's some really nice pros and cons for both teams, and it should be a great game overall. I'm taking Hickory, but I wouldn't be shocked if Sharon wins that game too.
Yeah, Sharon without Bishop Root appears like for another week or so. No official word yet, but the two-way star is a big loss for Sharon. So I think that's a no question an impact a player not on the field. What other big games are going on this weekend, Tom?
Well, I think the nice thing about this week is now that region play has started, you kind of erase the sins of the first 2 weeks. If you had a rough game, like for example, Mercy's Preps 1-0 in the region, they play Seneca, huge game right there. This could be for the Region 3 title. In Region 5, you have teams like Fairview and Harbor Creek winning their first region games after the first 2 weeks were kind of rough. So that's for first place right now. So those are probably the 2 biggest games this week up here. But what the nice thing is everyone's kind of 1-0 in Order 1 right now. So region titles are very much in play for most teams, and it should be a very interesting week. And a game we'll have on, in addition, Hickory Sharon is also interesting. Reynolds coming to Sharpsville, Tom. That's one that has first place written all over it. Absolutely. It's a huge Region 1 game. 2 teams playing well, kind of discovering themselves a little bit on offense, and really 2 strong rushing games. So it could be a really interesting way how they scout each other and handle each other. Both teams playing well, and it could be a quick one with all the running, but it should be a classic. Especially, you look at a team like Reynolds coming off a emotional 3 overtime win against Mercer. You want to see them keep that emotion going and not do an emotional letdown.
Tom, we appreciate your time as always. Have a great week. We look forward to chatting with you next Monday.
All right. Thanks a lot, Bob.
All right. Tom Reisenweber of the Erie Times. Great insight as always as we continue here on the Pick Sports Line. Before we go into our high school football review, our new little addition during this program each and every week, we relive our lock, stock, and barrel plays of the week. From week number 3, we had 2 games. Here are the 2 lock, stock, and barrel plays of the week.
Grove City, Titusville.
2nd and 7 at the 11. Moore back to pass, lob it underneath. Caught by Clayton Martin. Martin takes it in. Touchdown, Grove City. What an answer for Grove City. 9 plays, 50 yards. Clayton Martin. An 11-yard touchdown catch from Drake Moore.
Yeah. Slippery Rock, Sharon.
Zach Lasko will stand at his 20 to kick it away. Takes the snap. It's a line drive kick away. Norris will let it bounce and will field it at about the 30, at about the 29-yard line. Goes left, now turns, comes right. He's got an edge to the 40, to the 45, to the 50. A ton of shirts, and he's going to go. 20, 10, 5, and a touchdown. 71 yards on the return for Carmez Norris.
Unbelievable play by Norris. He picked it up on the far side and then got the wall out here blocking for him. And when he turned and went back towards the Sharon sideline, you saw it was going to be easy pickings for the young man. He goes 71 yards, and Sharon now leads 20-0.
There you go. Our 2 lock, stock, and barrel plays of the game. Week number 3, Hugh, let's review it all.
All right, a game on Thursday night was heard on 790 WPIC. Bob and Mark Slazak brought it to you live. Hickory Hornets, no trouble with Conneaut, going to 3-0, 63-6 the final.
Hickory 3-0 for the first time since 2019. Xander Tellez was our Reinhardt's player of the game. He had 2 touchdown passes. He also ran for 1. Jaden Phillips had 2 huge touchdown catches, 47 and 57 yards. Calvin Morrison, 92 yards rushing and a couple touchdowns on just 6 carries. And Hickory's defense limits Conneaut to 119 yards.
Mark and Bob also brought you a ball game on Friday night, Slippery Rock and Sharon at Tiger Stadium. And the Sharon Tigers pitched a shutout to go to 2-1. The Rock now 1-2, 42-0 Sharon the final.
Torrential downpour at times in this game. It was wild at Tiger Stadium. The newly renovated Tiger Stadium, their new turf held up very well. Sharon wins their 700th game of all time. Their first team ever to do that in District 10 history. Bryson Roberson, the player of the game, 7 catches, 61 yards, 2 touchdowns. Isaac Friday, 91 yards rushing. Ethan Engelmore, 11 of 13 passing, 108 yards and 2 touchdowns. And the Tiger defense pitching the shutout. Sharon wins 42-0.
Ryan Briggs and Chris Birch on 96.7 Friday night brought you Grove City and Titusville, and it was not much of a game. Titusville goes to 2-1, beating Grove City 36-7.
Yeah, multiple weather delays in Titusville made it for a long night for everybody. Grove City fell behind early and never really could get back into the game. Their star running back, Jackson Wilson, was injured early on, also missing their starting quarterback. Jonah Stuckio was our Reinhardt's player of the game with 89 yards rushing. Grove City gave up 269 yards rushing to Jackson Covell of Titusville. Grove City loses 36-7.
In a game called early due to the weather, the game went 3 overtimes, a wild one at Mercer. Reynolds and Mercer, 3 overtimes, and Reynolds ekes it out 32-31 to go to 3-0 over the Mustangs.
Yeah, really an incredible game. The longest game in Mercer County since Greenville and Sharon played a 4-overtime game back in 2007, I believe. Reynolds goes to 3-0. Xavier Zachrich, 17 of 23 passing, 155 yards, 3 touchdowns. Parker Ney, 4 catches, 89 yards, 2 touchdowns, also a pick 6. Gabe Menars hit the go-ahead or the game-tying touchdown in the 3rd overtime. And Geraldo Hernandez with the walk-off extra point to lead Reynolds to a huge win, 32-31 over Mercer in triple overtime.
Wow, the Farrell Steelers are 0-3. They lose to a very good Ursuline team from Youngstown, 27-0 Friday night.
Game was called early because of the weather. Farrell 0-3 on the field for the first time since 1999. In 2006, they also were 0-3, but they won their first game against Sharon, but later had to forfeit that game. They were missing Juels Johnson, their star running back. Well, not a good night. Farrell loses 27-0.
The Wilmington Greyhounds hosted Northern Bedford's Panthers on Friday night in New Wilmington, and they had a heck of a good ball game. Went right down to the end. 21-0 Greyhounds, the winner, to go to 2-1.
21-19, the final. Northern Bedford missed a 44-yard field goal as time ran out, which would have been the game winner. Wilmington ends Northern Bedford's 28-game regular season winning streak. It's a big-time program that came up here from District 5. Cale Kettering had a 70-yard kickoff return. Mistretta, 76 yards rushing. Miller, 61 yards rushing. Northern Bedford's quarterback threw for 332 yards, but it wasn't enough. Wilmington, 21. Northern Bedford, 19.
What has to be classed as an upset of sorts, Lakeview and Sagertown. Sagertown won the ball game by 3, 32-29 over Lakeview. The Sailors dropped to 2-1.
Sagertown wins on a walk-off field goal, and you're right, a big upset for Lakeview. Braden Boer had 101 yards rushing, also 8.5 tackles for losses. Blake Skiles, 150 yards rushing, 109 yards receiving, but it wasn't enough. Sagertown, 32, Lakeview, 29.
It was a nice night for the Greenville Trojans last Saturday night, a 7 o'clock game against Cambridge Springs. Greenville goes to 2-1. That may have been a bit of an upset too, Bob. 17-0 over Cambridge Springs. The Spa dropped to 2-1.
Really unbelievable stat. Only the fourth time Greenville has played Cambridge Springs, but it dates back 100 years. The fourth time they played each other, Greenville has pitched shutouts in all 4 games, getting back 100 years. It's also Greenville's first 2-game win streak in 3 years. Keith Covert had a 75-yard kickoff return. Gentili, 90 yards rushing. Soldered, 69 yards rushing. And Thurber threw a great trick pass play, 30 yards to Jackson Leskovic to give Greenville a 17-0 win over Cambridge Springs.
Mr. Statman, Bob Greenberg, only you would come up with that nice tidbit of fact.
And, of course, Kennedy Catholic forfeits to Sharpsville on Saturday, 1-0. We will take a break, come back. It's Pigskin Pick'em time. We have to break a 21-player tie. We're going to draw one name out of the hat coming up next. Tell you who won Week 3 and tell you who Week 4 experts believe will win. Stay tuned for all of that. Coming up next, Pigskin Pick'em right here on 790 WPIC, Sports Radio 96.7.
Imagine a bathroom that's not just a room, but a sanctuary. At Warner's Homes and Improvements, they believe in taking the time to get it right. That's why they are proud to introduce their bathroom installation service, where done in a day is a thing of the past. Experience the difference of a bathroom designed for you, not the clock. Visit Warner's Homes and Improvements on Route 19 in Mercer or at warnerconstruction.com. Warner's Homes and Improvements, where your bathroom is our masterpiece. Don't rush perfection.
I've worked hard to make my house a home, and I expect my insurance to work hard too. That's why I'm with Erie Insurance and my local agent. They offer the service I deserve, the coverage I need, all at a price I can afford.
Your local Erie agent in Hermitage is Reinhardt's Insurance. Get a quote at 724-342-2291 or visit reinhardts.com. Go to erieinsurance.com for company licensure and product details.
Did you know that Mancino's Driving School can give you your driver's test? That's right. Mancino's Driving School provides an approved Pennsylvania Department of Education certified driving course as well as behind-the-wheel training. Mancino's Driving School offers one-on-one, on-the-road driving lessons 7 days a week with day and evening hours. They use only certified driving instructors that have undergone extensive background investigation. For details or more information on adult training, go online to mancinosdrivingschool.com.
It's time now for our weekly edition of Pigskin Pick'em. Our local panel of experts will now tell you who's going to win this week's high school football games. They're not that good, so how about some educated guesses? They're not that good either? Well, why don't they just flip a freaking coin? Now it's time for this week's edition of Pigskin Pick'em.
All right, here we go. Pigskin Pick'em, week number 3, the experts. There were 7 of us with 6 wins. Slazak, Malson, Birch, Steele, Shannon, and Moyer. 5-way tie for first place, 7-2. Landmark information, Ringer, Briggs, Reisenweber, and yours truly for the season with 17 wins. Rob Molson, 18 wins. Moyer, Shannon, and Steele, 20 wins. Slazak, Reisenweber, Birch, 21 wins. Ringer, Landmark, and still in a tie for first place with 22 wins. Yours truly and the Professor Ryan Briggs. Our fans, we had a ton of fans that tied at 7-2. Alan McFeeters, Ben Barrett, Bob Davis, Corey Reif, David Gravatt, David McLaren, Dominic Amato, Dominic John Julo, Hank Fry, John Bajuric, Mike Tompak, Rob Gillespie, Ryan Hayes, Steve Maddox, Tony Mastrian, and Vern Saylor. We drew the name out of the hat. You saw it on the video. Ryan Haynes wins our Vase Pub and Grill $25 gift card. Thank you for playing. And also, you can sign up today to play in week number 4. And we're ready to go. Week number 4 is upon us, Hugh.
Okay, Bob, and without question, the game of the weekend, you and Mark Slazak are going to bring it to the folks live Friday night on 96.7. The 1-2 Sharon Tigers at the 3-0 Hickory Hornets. Do you throw the numbers out because of this backyard rivalry?
So much to talk about in this game. Of course, Hickory loses to Sharon last year in the regular season and then avenges that loss and beats Sharon in the District 10 championship game. Sharon's still talking about it, and obviously rightfully so. They thought they were the better team last year, but Hickory wins the District 10 championship. They're at Hickory on Friday night. Sharon coming off a big win. Hickory's 3-0. Very interesting game. Good chance they can meet each other again in November. Our panelists say this. One of us going with Sharon to win, Art Shannon. The rest of us, the other 11, going with Hickory to win this game. 11 for Hickory. Check that. 10 for Hickory, 1 for Sharon.
All right, and a game to be heard on 790 WPIC with Briggs and Birch calling the action Friday night. 3-0 Reynolds will be at 2-1 Sharpsville. An interesting match.
Homecoming at Sharpsville. Should be a big crowd. The weather looks like it's going to be great. And this is a very interesting game. Reynolds survived triple overtime thriller on Friday. Sharpsville, they had a forfeit. They won. They didn't play. The experts, 8 of us going with Sharpsville to win. Yours truly, Slazak, Molson, Reisenweber, Briggs, Ringer, Shannon, and Moyer. 3 of us going with Reynolds to go to 4-0. Landmark Information, Birch, and Darren Steele.
The Greenville Trojans, coming off a nice win last week at 2-1, will go to Cochranton to face the 1-2 Cardinals.
And the Greenville Trojans dropped to single way. You felt like this could be a rebound year for the Trojans, and so far it has. They've won 2 in a row. They go up to Cochranton in a game that is very winnable, and our expert says it will be winnable. All 11 of us going with Greenville to go to 3-1.
1-2 Mercer visits 0-3 Farrell Friday night.
How about the Farrell Steelers? 0-3 for the first time on the field in 25 years. And they're hosting Mercer on Friday night. Mercer coming off a incredibly tough ending to the Reynolds game. The experts think Farrell, all 11 of us, Farrell will rebound and win their first game and beat the Mercer Mustangs.
A pair of 2-1 teams meet at Lakeview when the Sailors host Maplewood.
Very interesting game here. Lakeview's got to be a little upset about the way that game ended last week. Also expecting to have their new bleachers done. They will be at home for the first time this year. And because of all that, 11 of us going with Lakeview to beat Maplewood.
Saturday at 1 p.m. on 96.7 FM, Ryan Briggs and Colton Hoffman will bring you the action as 1-2 Slippery Rock travels to Grove City to face the 2-1 Eagles.
What a rivalry game this has been. They've played some of the biggest games over the last few years. Both teams coming off tough losses. Our experts go this way. 10 going with Grove City. Chris Birch, the only one going with Slippery Rock.
And another 1 o'clock game on the schedule. Is it going to be played, Bob? 2-1 Wilmington at 0-2 Kennedy.
And no matter what, I think there's no surprise here. All 11 of us going with Wilmington to beat Kennedy if that game is played on Saturday afternoon. That's going to do it for Pigskin Pick'em. We are glad you have tuned in. We have Hickory Sharon, Sharpsville Reynolds on Friday night on the radio and online, and some video for Hickory and Sharon. Grove City, Slippery Rock Saturday afternoon. We have Pitt football. We have the NFL tonight, Monday Night Football. We have the NFL Thursday night. We have Pirates baseball. We have so much going on. We're glad you've tuned in. And behalf of Hugh Ringer, Flynn's Tire and Auto Service, I am Bob Greenberg. This is the Pitt Sports Line. Have a great week, everybody.
You're listening to News Talk 790 WPIC Sharon, Hermitage, and Sports Radio 96.7 WLLF Mercer, Hermitage, a Cumulus station.
This is a Radio PA news update. Former President Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris will be wrapping up debate prep Monday and early Tuesday as the two get set to face off in Philadelphia Tuesday night. Polls show the race remains very close, and the election can go either way November 5th, and so the debate could mean quite